Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the NFL draft recently wrapped up, and let's be honest, the Jets made away like bandits, right? We added skill positions offensively, defensively. This Jets team, Joe Douglas specifically, added a ton of talent. But the one headline that I keep seeing all over the place is that at the end of the day, it does come down to Zach Wilson, right? Joe Douglas can supply him with as much help as possible, but if he doesn't get the job done, then where are the Jets really going to go next season? And you know, that's true, right? It's a valid point, but in this one, I want to talk about a couple reasons why I think Zach Wilson will take a big step in year two. So let's talk about the first point here. And that's the completely revamped tight end room. Okay, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, Jeremy Ruckert. I feel like right now the Jets are in a position where, and I don't think this is an overreaction or anything like that, I think the Jets are in a position where the third tight end, right, we're looking at those three guys, I think the third tight end there is better than everybody that we had last season. I think Conklin, Uzomah, obviously they're coming off career seasons in their respective teams in Minnesota and Cincinnati. They're going to be coming in as massive upgrades, huge security blankets for this team. We look at this style of system, there's a lot to do with the tight end position in the pass catching realm. Okay, George Kittle, San Francisco. You look at Higbee in LA. You look at Waller in Las Vegas, excuse me. Back when Washington was running their West Coast system, they had Jordan Reed. Okay, so there's a big emphasis on a pass catching tight end in this style of system here. It just adds that extra layer that I felt like defensive coordinators, defensive minded head coaches, they didn't really have to worry about last season. Was Ryan Griffin really striking fear in the minds of these defensive coaches? Tyler Kroft, I just don't really think so. So I think right now for the Jets to be able to sit here right now and look at the roster and say, hey, you know what? We have three guys, and you know, look, if you want to say Jeremy Ruckert's a rookie, a middle round pick, we don't really know what he is. Completely valid, but we know who Conklin is. We know who Uzomah is. They are both better than everybody we had last season. So a completely revamped tight end room in this style of offense, I think will really benefit Zach. Point number two here, not only did they just get a lot better at tight end, but they added some dynamic playmakers in Breece Hall, in Garrett Wilson, retaining Braxton Berrios, which I thought was really important. You know, we take a look at the departures on this Jets offense. Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, you know, these guys weren't the option. They weren't the primary guy. They weren't, you know, the guy that Mike LaFleur fed the football to constantly. It just didn't really happen. Okay, so I felt like, you know, we look at the departures, they're not really too monumental. You know, I definitely feel like it will hurt to lose a guy in Jamison Crowder, you know, a veteran wide receiver in this league that can get open. He's seen a lot of defenses and whatnot, and I do feel like he will have a pretty big season in Buffalo. But, you know, when I look at the additions, they far outweigh the losses, in my opinion. Garrett Wilson, he's going to come in and do some awesome things. 10th overall pick. Breece Hall, I'm seeing projections that have Breece Hall winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is crazy. So, yes, the Jets completely upgraded the tight end position, but we also retained Berrios. We added some dynamic playmakers to the offense here. I think it will really bode well for Wilson going into year two. Point number three here, Zach Wilson is going into the second year of the same offense. Sam Darnold didn't have that luxury. Okay, with Todd Bowles being fired, they cleaned house. Adam Gase came in. We know what happened next. Okay, Trevor Lawrence doesn't have that luxury, right? We can take a look at all the second-year quarterbacks. Justin Fields can't say that, right? They brought in Matt Eberflus. Again, Lawrence, they brought in Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. Mac Jones, he lost Josh McDaniels. We don't really know what's happening with Trey Lance. I feel like, you know, the 49ers are just in a fantastic position from a coaching perspective, from a roster perspective, everything like that. I do feel like Lance, you know, it's weird because we just don't know what he looks like as an NFL quarterback. But when we're just judging situations, I still feel like San Francisco is probably the best bet. Davis Mills, yeah, they brought back Brandon Cooks, but they didn't draft the Jameson Williams, a Garrett Wilson, a Chris Olave, a Drake London. Okay, they didn't go out and sign an Allen Robinson or a Christian Kirk. They didn't trade for Devontae Adams. So when I'm looking at the roster moves that the Jets made so far, and I add in the fact that Wilson's going to be going into the second year of the same offense, I think it will be really beneficial. You know, Trevor Lawrence has to just take that playbook that he had with Darrell Bevell last year and just toss it. All the terminology, all the concepts, you know, the familiarity, everything like that. it's gone. They have to restart again. This Jets offense, they don't have to do that. So I think looking at it from that angle, it does make sense that Wilson will have a better grasp on what's going on, knowing where to go with the football, just having a better understanding of the offense heading into year 2. Point number 4 here, definitely a little bit of an assumption, but I think the defense will be a lot better. I'm not saying a top 5 defense or a top 10 defense, but I definitely expect it being better than the worst in football, okay? Adding guys like DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, Carl Lawson coming back from injury, CJ Mosley coming off a career season, adding Jermaine Johnson, adding Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter going into year 2. I think there's Quinnen Williams, big season for Q. I think there's a lot of talent on this defense, a lot of new faces. And, we heard Robert Saleh say multiple times last season that it wasn't the scheme. It wasn't the scheme's fault on why the defense was not performing. But it was definitely sickening to look at the number 32 attached to multiple statistics with this Jets defense. If it wasn't 32, it was 31 or 30 or 29. That was horrible. So if the Jets defense can step up and produce a little bit more, again, I'm not saying it needs to be top 3. If that happens, awesome. I'm totally there for it. But if this defense can go from 32 to 22, 32 to 20, I think that would be a big jump. You're not putting your young quarterback in a favorable position if they're constantly down by 14, by 10, right? End of the first quarter, the Jets are down 17-0. Things like that cannot happen, okay? So again, it is an assumption. We don't know how this Jets defense will look, but with the names on paper, with the acquisitions in both the draft and free agency, and with Saleh saying that the scheme wasn't the problem, it's a pretty solid assumption to say that the defense will look a little bit better. And last but not least, point number 5 here, we talked about Zach Wilson going into year 2 of the offense. It's also Mike LaFleur's second year as well. Think about all the different tactics, all the different tips and tricks he learned throughout the course of the season, whether it was in practice, whether it was calling plays, whether it was, maybe doing something and it wasn't working out and then he switched it. This offseason is the perfect time to reflect, look back, and see what went well, see what didn't work, throw out the stuff that didn't work, and move forward with the stuff that did work. New ideas, new opportunities to get better. I think having a season as a Mike LaFleur had a lot on his plate. I actually posted a video, I think last summer, talking about Mike LaFleur was the X factor for the New York Jets 2021 season. He had to develop a rookie quarterback. It was the first time installing an offense by himself. Saleh, there wasn't really a big say. It was Mike LaFleur's job. He had to call plays on top of that. You look at the quarterback room, it was Zach Wilson, Mike White, James Morgan. There wasn't that veteran quarterback presence until midway through the year when the Jets acquired Joe Flacco. I did feel like that was a mistake to not have a veteran QB in the room at the start of the season, or even in preseason training camp, just to help that learning curve or help the growth of Wilson and the other young quarterbacks in the room. I think because we have some veterans in place to start the season, and Mike LaFleur has an entire year to look back on and again reflect on, I think that will bode well for every offensive player moving forward. A quick little bonus one as well, Laken Tomlinson, one of the best guards in football. That acquisition I think is going to be big time, not only in just the in the pass game, but also the running game, which would in turn help out Zach Wilson. So I think we take a look at or we try to project Wilson going into year 2 here, and I think there's so many more pros than there are cons. And of course you can say, hey, Wilson didn't look good his rookie season. The majority of it, the first section, I would probably say the 3/4 of the year, Zach Wilson was not that impressive, and that's true. Interceptions, not completing footballs, not accurate, decision making was questionable, missed some time due to injury. There was a lot of adversity. There's a lot of negative last season surrounding Zach Wilson's rookie year. But I think going into year 2, he has a lot of stuff in his corner. There's a lot of positive points that you could reference if you're arguing whether or not Zach Wilson will or will not take that year 2 jump. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Where do you stand on Zach Wilson right now? I do agree with the statement that we talked about in the beginning, where Joe Douglas can give him a better offensive line, a better roster, better tight ends, better running backs, wide receiver, better defense. Mike LaFleur going into year 2. Like, at the end of the day, he is a quarterback. He was the 2nd overall pick. The expectations are high. The pressure is on. Now, last season, and I actually did a collab with Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio, maybe a week and a half ago. It was before the draft, and he made a great point. Losing, not necessarily saying it was okay last year, but it was justified. Everybody was hurt. Everybody was young. Salah's first year, LaFleur's first year, Wilson's first year. It was understandable. But with the acquisitions that this team has made, with the investments that this team has made, you got to think Zach Wilson's performance, or one would hope that Zach Wilson's performance would elevate a little bit, again, going into his 2nd year. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.